The LG V20, the best phone that you'll never buy. So the LG V20 has been announced for about a few weeks at this point. If you guys are wondering about the technical specifications of the phone, I actually personally recommend the Android Authority video on it. He actually went through a plethora of tests and technical aspects of the phone that may be helpful to you. This is not a sponsor for him or whatsoever. I actually used his videos to kind of gain some knowledge about my my opinions on the device. I can tell you guys. So if you guys want a better video on that, if you guys just want to hear about the technical specs, go check those videos out. But this video is essentially going to be about why I think you should actually consider it and why I'm actually considering in my upgrades. Now, after reading about the device through a couple of the sites, checking out actually LG's website as well as some of the other videos out there, I kind of consider this phone, I think the way I can best describe it, it's like the Holy Grail from Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. Because essentially everyone that I spoke to about this phone, they kind of consider it like the hidden gem, where no one's really paying attention to this device, but it is potentially one of the best smartphones out there. Now, in terms of design, the phone doesn't really scream at me that it's, oh, bam, look at this beautiful design. But at the same time, it doesn't look bad either. I consider it like, if you think of it like metaphorically to like a car, it's like a Lexus almost, where it's just, it's not bad looking, but it's not the most greatest looking car ever. I mean, well, the new cars these days, but it's like a standard luxury car. Just doesn't scream design, but it just looks, it's okay. In terms of specs, it seems to be right up there with the Samsung Galaxy Note 7, as well as the, newly announced iPhone 7. It seems to be pretty much on par. So in terms of performance, I don't think you'll be, for those of you who are performance buffs, aren't going to be disappointed with this phone. For the rest of the folks out there, at the end of the day, it's going to handle your day-to-day apps just perfectly fine. In terms of the interface, Android does vary amongst the different companies little by little. And I gotta admit, I haven't been a fan of LG's iteration of Android in the past, because I did try out the G Flex phones as well as the original, I think the G2 it was. I did check those phones out, and I just wasn't a big fan of their iteration of Android. But this time around, it looks like, because I didn't really check out last year's models, so the V10 and the G5, which was this year, but I didn't check out their updates that they've made to the phone. And I gotta admit, from what I saw and the different shortcuts that they've done, especially the secondary screen up top, I actually really like what they've done with the phone's interface. In terms of camera quality, there's no need for me to go kind of too deep into the different specs, but overall, the two lens system, Apple's not the only one doing it, and it seems like they also implemented a fingerprint scanner onto the back of the device. I believe they're just continuing that from last year's model as well, but I like what they've done to the phone, because originally when I checked out the G Flex about 2 years ago at this point, but going back to the design of the phone, I actually was a big fan of the V10. When it came out, I checked it out at the Best Buy store that I went to near me. I liked how it felt, because a lot of people kind of give a lot of these companies crap for making fake leather. I actually kind of like the leather feeling. The Note 3 had the same thing, and the Note 4 sort of has it as well too, where it's still a plastic back, but the outside is made in a certain way where it's like faux leather. And it felt nice. I mean, it doesn't have to be full leather to feel premium. I just like the way it felt. On top of that, I still like the fact that with the current model, that the back is still removable even while it's still metal. Which means for those of you who like to have the versatility of being able to replace your battery, as well as having expandable memory, it makes it very easy. You see, I don't like the fact that Samsung has gone with the way of having a fully closed device and having a SD card slot only being accessible via if you have those little pins to push the thing out. At the same time, you have to take out your SIM card in order to replace your SD card. Now, I know this won't affect a lot of you out there, but for those of you who don't like streaming and like to keep all your media under one SD card or several SD cards, this is an optimal structure for you, because you can get the latest phone with one of the latest performances and screens. All you have to do is simply remove the back, take the SD card out, and put it in without having to remove your SIM or anything like that. I do miss that functionality. I mean, I still have it with my Note 4, but I think I would miss that flexibility if I had to move over to a different platform, like like the iPhone 7 or the Note 7. In terms of battery swapping, obviously the G5 went a different way with being able to just physically remove the battery out from the bottom, but I feel like that design was a little extreme because it's far more simpler just to be able to just click, pop open the back, put a new one in, and just click it back in. I feel like that little functionality that they added to the G5, I don't agree with it. I'll just put it simply, I just don't agree with it, and I'm glad that they went with the original style with the V20. Now, in terms of the durability of the device, obviously I haven't owned it, so I can't tell you firsthand, but watching a lot of the drop test videos that have been done by people like Android Authority kind of gives me a little hope for the device, because I have dropped my Note 4 several times. I've actually replaced the screen twice because of how fragile it is. Yes, if you drop it flat down, it doesn't typically crack because it's meant to be impact resistant, but it doesn't protect it from corner damages, and that's how my Note 4 got cracked the first couple times, because my original store had nothing but concrete flooring, and when you dropped it down, especially onto a corner, it cracked. I've dropped it face down several times, on its back several times, but needless to say, it cracked. From what I saw about the V20, the one guy dropped it on the corner and the face and the back, and each time the screen actually survived. There were no cracks on it, a couple blemishes on the side, but overall the phone stayed intact. Now, the one thing that I think a lot of Android owners especially understand is when you drop your phone, the back typically pops off, and sometimes the battery will fly out too, which will lead your phone to be turning off. But at the same time, I don't feel like that's necessarily a bad thing. You can think of it as, in terms of a car, and I apologize for my metaphors, but think of the back popping off sort of like, the crumple space a car has in the front or the back. Because the impact is being transferred to the back plate, and then with that force is popping off, but that means that energy is being forced outward and is taking away from the phone. That's probably not sound science. That is just my hypothesis, so don't quote me on that. Don't go typing in the comment board down below that is fact or anything like that, but that is just what I kind of believe. If someone could actually verify for that down below, that'd be awesome, but don't take it as fact. But folks, I personally believe with the enhancements that they made over the V10, including the increasing the battery size to give you guys more battery life, better camera quality, better functionality on the camera, I think it's a device worth looking at. And if you're just looking for an opinion on the device, I think here it is at this point. But I'm here telling you guys that I think it's worth looking. And I'm a pretty heavy Samsung user. I had the S3, S4, the Note 1, 2, 3, 4, and I'm at the point now where one company has become a little stale to me. Over the past few years, I've pretty much stuck with Samsung because I felt like none of the other companies really competed, really offered me anything better. But this time around, LG has really impressed me. Now, in terms of design, I do like the design of the Note 7 better. Obviously, Samsung still has the Gear VR platform, which I'm very interested in because I'm a big advocate of virtual reality, but at the same time, I'm not using that every day. And looking at an everyday, day-to-day phone, the LG V20 may offer me a better experience. Obviously, I still gotta see what the price is gonna be. I haven't really seen any quotes online, but I believe it's around the same price or a little bit lower than the Note 7, and I really do have to play around with it. I'm gonna actually go to my local Best Buy and see if I could, they actually offer, you could try out the phone for 7 days and return it, and I just might do that. And this would be technically my very first phone that I'll be testing out in my journey of deciding what to upgrade to from my Note 4. Now, in terms of screen size, very happy with the size because, to be honest, I've been using the Note series, so 5.5 inches plus since the Note 1, and I really can't revert back down. I love the S7, I love some of the other phones that have been out, but I really just can't use the smaller screen, and I'm glad that LG has released this phone. So with that said, guys, I would actually like to hear what you guys think about the LG V20. If there are LG lovers out there, because I know Samsung has this fan base, Apple has its fan base, and I know that LG has its respective fan base as well. Let me know in the comment section down below if you think that this is the phone that I should upgrade to, because I'm going to be looking at a plethora of phones out there for the holiday season and also for myself because obviously, you know, upgrading is not easy. I'm not a rich person. I've stuck to my Note 4 for the last 2 years for a reason. My Gear S, my smartwatch, is still broken. I only use it for the notifications because the screen doesn't come on, but it still buzzes when I get a notification. So I'm still using this. I haven't upgraded anything yet because money is tight and I don't have, you know, the means of going through device after device after device. So through my own research as well as your comments, you know, you guys can help me make my decision. All right, guys, well, thank you for watching that video. I hope you enjoyed it. I know it wasn't too informative per se, but this was, once again, just my opinion on the device so far. But if you'd like to let me know your comments, questions, or feedback even about the device or me in general, or if you want to leave a troll comment, leave them in the comment section down below. And if you liked this video, go ahead and leave a thumbs up. And if you liked what I had to say, and if you liked some of the other videos I've done in the past and haven't subscribed yet, well, what are you waiting for? Hit that subscribe button for more videos in the future and to support my channel. So, until the next video, take care.